I've got with me somebody that you absolutely have to become in love with in regards to what he has available as music. His name is Wailin Walker, uh, or at least that's his stage name. And he's Canadian, which is the actual penultimate for me. So your first album was in 1978, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
1978, yeah.
So what?
Born and raised in Vancouver. I'm Canadian through and through.
Are you still living in Vancouver?
I am.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just living on the outside of Vancouver in White Rock in the ocean community of White Rock. But I was born in Vancouver.
nice.
My parents were both from South Africa, and my great grandmother was black.
Oh,
She
okay.
was married. Yeah, she was Saint Helena, the island that's in the middle of the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So my great grandfather came from Scotland, met up with her, got together, and that's how the family started. I just found this out about 2 years ago that we had black heritage in our family.
So take us back. The beginning when you were a child. When did you actually discover that you had interest in music?
Music, it definitely. My father had a classical guitar background himself. He played, so he was constantly playing around the house, playing a lot of. He was into Paraguayan music, played a lot of that at their parties and stuff. I listened to that all the time, and I really twigged onto the blues when I was about 12 years old, when I started playing the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And King of the Blues was like first album I ever got was B.B. King's King of the Blues. It just kind of hit a chord. Well, the first thing is it's easy enough to play because it's straight ahead pentatonic scale, so it went along with my way of learning guitar. So it was simple to play the notes, but very hard to get the feel of it, which is the whole crux behind that part of it. But yeah, about 12 or 13 was when I started playing.
Okay. And when did you? Well, you probably started gigging way before the first album came out. But is it just you solo when you decided to go ahead and go into music, or did you form a core of bandmates to follow?
We, going through high school and stuff, we started putting on our own dances. And we'd get the halls rented, and then we'd play to, our friends and pack the hall full when we were like, teenagers, 15, 16 years old. So I only really started playing professionally when I was like maybe 17 or 18. I actually played in clubs, but the first band was called the House Rockers, Wailin Walker and the House Rockers. And I always felt that it's not right. The Hound Dog Taylor and the House Rockers, right? That was the House Rockers with Hound Dog Taylor. And it wasn't right. You couldn't just call yourself the House Rockers. It had to be something, and the House Rockers.
Okay.
That was my own personal rule. So we followed that, and we formed the House Rockers, and that's when we put out our first record, which was actually vinyl record. And that got out there, and we had pretty good following. So that's when the promoters at our local spot, the Commodore Ballroom, started hiring us to open up for people. So our first show that we ever did was opening for George Thorogood. So it started with George Thorogood, and then it moved on to Johnny Winter, which was like a dream come true, right, to be opening for him.
Uh-huh.
And that just kept growing. We opened up for so many people. Nazareth, Brian Adams. I think so far, I played the Commodore like 78 shows, which includes almost everybody from Steppenwolf to Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, played Stevie Ray Vaughan. And the House Rockers, that was Stevie Ray Vaughan that we played with. We did 4 shows with him back in 1982, about 1982, when he just got back from Montreux and wasn't doing too well after that because he didn't do good in Montreux, and he came back, started his Western tour in Vancouver. And we did 4 shows with Stevie Ray back then with the House Rockers. So we got a lot of openings. We're kind of like the house band for up tempo blues band of Vancouver there in those days.
Okay. And how long did you and the House Rockers continue after that?
We stayed together till about 1984, and that's when I joined forces with Jack Lavin from the Powder Blues.
Nice.
He was running a jam session at the Yale Hotel in Vancouver, which was kind of becoming our King Eddie, kind of our spot in Vancouver. And he was originally from Chicago, so he kind of had connections and had the foresight, basically, to realize that Vancouver should be on the map. And blues artists would come to Vancouver. They'd go to Calgary, they'd go to Edmonton, they'd go to Toronto, of course. And, Dutch Mason was busy in Newfoundland and stuff there. So he kind of started a jam session there, and then he talked the management into starting to bring artists there to play there. So Pee Wee Creighton, Big Joe Duskin, Otis Rush. And so I signed on with him, and I started doing the jam, and then we formed a band his band was called The Demons, and my band, I've been Wailin Walker, so we call ourselves the Wailin Demons. And we opened and played with, not only opened for, but, John Hammond would come, and John would do his opening set on it by himself, of course, like he always did, solo, and then he'd call us up to play with him because he trusted us, and we would back him up in an electric set, much like Robbie Robertson and the band did for him as well. The old John Hammond doing the same thing. So, of course, the band did it for Bob Dylan too, that kind of situation. But Johnny Hartzman come to town, we play with him. Otis Rush came to town. We were in his band. We actually played with Otis Rush for 2 shows, and that was unbelievable. Probably the highlight of Jack and mine, both our careers, to say we were actually with Otis Rush. We took him out for sushi. We took Otis Rush out for sushi. We sat at the sushi bar with him, and we ordered a bunch of sushi and sashimi, and when it came, he looked at it, and he took the chopstick, and he poked at it, and he said, "Is it done yet?" So yeah, just a lot of incredible stories to tell about hanging out with these guys, Ted Harvey, Jimmy Rogers. Oh man, it just goes on and on. The different everybody that came to the Yale, we either backed them up or opened for them. So it was really a heyday, and we really miss having a place like that in Vancouver now, because we don't have anything really in Vancouver since the Yale kind of closed its doors to the blues side of things. But between like 1984 and right up to the late 90s, we were on the circuit.
Okay. And after the Wailin Demons, I'm assuming that lived for a period of time, and then probably
it went through to the very early 90s, and at that point, parted ways there with Jack, and then I formed my own band, the Wailin Walker Band.
Okay.
And we did an album called The Devil Made Me Play It, which got released by Double Trouble Records in Amsterdam.
Wow.
Which was really changed the whole sort of Canadian thing and threw us more into a European, because we were getting a lot of airplay in Europe. In Spain as well. Italy were playing us. We went over there and we played the Moulin Blues Festival and did great. And then stayed with that. And then shortly after that, about 1996, I did my first album with Fred Xavier of Tearless Records. Mm-hmm. And he was out of British Columbia, but also linked with Toronto. So we got a lot of airplay in Australia and Canada. We were on what was, I don't think they called it Stingray back then. It was called something else. And did well with them. We did a second album with Fearless Records called Crazy at Night. Mm-hmm. I think that was my 4th or 5th album. And then, then that was good. We had a really good run with the Wailin Walker Band. And after that, that's when I got together with Jerry Doucette, the Mama Let Him Play man. And
Yeah.
I toured with him for 10 years all across Canada. And we finished up. He just passed away a few years ago, and we finished with that. And that's when I did No Regrets, which was in 2014. And Jerry Doucette's on that album. It's the last recordings that he did before he passed away. I was in his band at the time. I did an album called No Regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And, then finished with Jerry, and now I'm kind of back. Now I've been doing, that sort of brings you up to date, up to speed now. Except for the 2 albums that just came out that are doing really good right now. I can't believe how well they're doing. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, you're not a how can I put it? You're not a blip on the map. You're actually you're a piece of a foundation piece in the Canadian blues scene, which goes.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, with everything that you've done, everything that you've marked, everything that you've experienced. I mean, you went through what 1, 2, 3 band changes. And now you're on your own. I think you're on your own, or do you have bandmates right now?
I have bandmates right now. Yeah, I've got the same, my team. There's 5 of us: sax, bass, drums, and keyboards.
Okay.
And we're a 5-piece. That's been what the last 2 albums, All Fired Up, which came out last year, and then Blues Lightning, which is the new one that just came out. That's my band. They're the same players that are on both those albums.
Okay, and who are the players? Could you name them for us?
Marco Ibera's on drums, and Bruce O'Neill. Marco played with me with Jerry Doucette for, I think, 23 years. He's played with Jerry.
Okay.
So he kind of pulled me in. He was my original drummer back when I did The Devil Made Me Play It. He was the drummer on that. We've been playing together for like 35 years.
Okay.
You know, I've been playing music for 50 years. I can't believe it, but it's like 50, it's probably 52 years now. I've been saying that for a couple of years, but yeah, so it's been I've been playing since I was like 16, and like I'm 69 tomorrow. Actually, I turn 69 tomorrow. So we've got Dave Webb on keyboards. He played with Harp Dog Brown.
Oh, yes.
Before Harp Dog passed away a few years back as well. So Dave played with him. Dave's been around Vancouver almost as long as me. And we have Jerry. They'll kill me. Jerry Cook on sax. Now Jerry plays with Blue Moon Marquis.
Ooh.
He plays with Colin James.
Okay.
And plays with me, of course, and he plays with Steve Mariner as well. So he's really well regarded, and he played with me back in 1999 on The Devil Made Me Play It. I've been working with Jerry for years. Him and I just have a way with horn arrangements. We just put them together. So he's on the new album too. And so all these guys are long-term friends, and we just get along great. And then when we play, we know what to do. Gary's to me, he's like the best sax player in Canada as far as laying down either a raspity yakety yak sax or a mellow groove, whatever. And he'll come in, and when we do section work, he'll play all the parts himself. He'll double the baritone, double the tenor, and then hit it with a little alto on the top and lay it all down, the whole section, because he knows what's required,
So that said, when did you actually start recording or preparing the Blues Lightning album? Because it's phenomenal. I've been listening to it non-stop. Although for some odd reason I get caught on the Starving Country Girl Blues, which is actually fun to listen to. It's kind of stop, listen, so take a breather. So
really, we had a lot of fun making that, and that's actually features Willie McCalder, who passed away a couple of years ago. He actually was playing on the original take of that, which I pulled up, and Willie, of course, is very well known in Canada as being the keyboard player of the Powder Blues for years, and a charter member of the Powder Blues, as well as before that, Willie and the Walkers. That was him out of Alberta, and that was like in the '60s and in like late '60s and '70s. He was right in there with the likes of the Beatles almost. He had quite a career as a Canadian rock and roll man. But anyways, Hungry Country Girl, Otis Spann tune that he did when Peter Green came to Chicago and brought the original Fleetwood Mac to Chicago to play. They were the wannabe guys from England playing blues, and in the early '60s. In '69, he came, and Otis Spann was thrown into Chess Records with them. Like, I'm sure he must have went, oh my God, what, I got to go and play with these guys these blokes from England, And one of the songs they did was Hungry Country Girl. That's Otis Spann did that song. And that's the minute I heard it, I always loved it. It starts very slow and easy, as you were saying, and it builds to a groove, and then it ends. And it's like, just a great song. And Willie and I were messing around the studio, and I said, let's try it, right? So you get to hear Willie playing on there as well as the latest rendition of our band. That's on there too.
So
and I'm really glad you liked the album. It's we put out All Fired Up last year,
mm-hmm.
and it was basically just, let's get this thing out. There was 17 tracks. I've got over 55 tracks just sitting, waiting to make albums of them. I just keep recording. I keep working on stuff, and my son actually said to me, you got to put some of this stuff out. And I was like 66, 67. I said, I've had a great career. I mean, it's great now, and he said, no, you got to do it. You got to do some more. Put some, let's get it out. He says to me, make me a demo disc of all the stuff that you think is good. So I went, okay. So I give him this disc, and it had, like I say, 40 or 50 tracks on it. Mm-hmm. And he came back and he said, you got to do it. Let's put one out. You should do it. So I started gathering them up, finished 17 of them off, and put it out as All Fired Up. Now, All Fired Up sat on the Roots Blues chart for 11 months. It just came off the chart like 2 weeks ago when Blues Lightning went and hit number one. There was 1 week, 3 weeks ago, where Blues Lightning was number one, and All Fired Up, the album from last year, was number 4 on the same chart. I couldn't believe it. It's just like, are you kidding me? So Blues Lightning has kind of taken over, and it's on there doing very well. It's been played all over the place. It's not just Europe this time. It's like into the South, Australia, Adelaide's playing it. They're playing it in Hogarth's playing it, and CKUA is playing it in Canada. We're getting airplay in Spain, and these guys are all sending me messages and saying hello and pointing out, but some guys remember me from the early 90s when our albums came out back then in the 90s. They remember the Wailin Walker name, and it's really a lot of fun. We're just having a really good time with it now. So we just found out 2 days ago that the big blues chart in the States,
mm-hmm.
I'm number 10 on there. I made the top 10 of that. So it's dropping down a little bit on the one chart, and it's picking up on the U.S. chart. So all we can do is ride it out and enjoy ourselves. I'm just so glad that people are getting to hear the music, because I got lots of it to share, tons of it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Now, for the Blues Lightning album, how many of the tracks are your own pieces?
I think out of 14, 7, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
7 are originals.
And then seven coverages with the possible modifications on some of the arrangements?
Yeah, definitely that. It came down to things that came off right. If you listen to the first track on the album, you've got Palace of the King,
mm-hmm.
Which is a Freddie King tune. And it's really funny, but I met Freddie King back in 1976. They had played, and they did an incredible set. And he was a big man, of course. He was 6'6", 280 pounds. He came off the stage at the end of the night, and I was standing, and he just came down the stairs of the stage, and he came walking right towards me. And I was going like, holy cow, Freddie King's coming right up to me. Holy cow. And he comes right up to me, and I stuck my hand out, and his hand's like the size of a baseball mitt, right? Just massive, right? And I put my hand out and said, Mr. King, nice to meet you, Mr. King. And he said, oh, hi, son, how are you? I said, I'm great. And then he was looking over my shoulder all the time, and he pushed off past me. There was this black lady, and she was this black girl, actually. She was yelling and screaming. He was going for her. He was going to say hi to her, and he was passing me. I thought he was coming to say hi to me. I thought, what the hell? I was just a kid, right? Anyway, so Towns of the King, we're working on it, and so, I'm listening to the playback of the track, and I'm listening to the guitar. I'm thinking, the guitar solo sounds like Hendrix. It's got it. I'm not trying to say I sound like Jimi Hendrix, but it had this feeling, the feeling of Hendrix just like exploding on it. And I thought, well, that's a keeper. I really like that. So that song, I worked that one up, right? And then got that one, I produced it and got it all sounding the way it is. And it's just fat, just really big and fat. And we built it around the solo and did the song, for what it was. And I always thought, well, it's a little heavy because it's kind of a little heavy-handed, but it's still blues. Let's put it up front. You're listening to it, it catches you. And then we can do the next song is Cheaper to Keep Her, which is a Mac Rice tune, the guy that wrote Mustang Sally, of course.
Okay.
And so there you get your swing big band feel, your downchild type feel as well. Then the next song is Ride 'Em Down by Eddie Taylor. And a funny story with that, I was in Clarksdale, Mississippi, about 3 years ago. My wife and I drove down there. We hung out with Charlie Musselwhite and Kurt Fletcher for a while, and we went to Levon's restaurant, and the place was packed. There was a jam session going on, and it was really, really crowded, and in came this gal and her boyfriend, and they couldn't find a seat. So we said, hey, we can sit right here. These people just left. Just come and sit beside us. So we're chatting and having drinks and talking and stuff and listening to the music. And it turns out it's Brenda Taylor, Eddie Taylor's daughter. So I said, well, I can't believe it. I'm such a big fan of him and Jimmy Reed. And oh, my God, if there wasn't Eddie Taylor, this was a big town playboy himself, right? If there wasn't Eddie Taylor, we wouldn't have a lot of that traditional sound in the electric blues. So I said, I just recorded one of your dad's songs. He says, oh, which one? I said, well, Ride 'Em On Down. She said, oh, that's fantastic. When you do it, you got to send it to me. I want to hear what you did. And I said, oh, great. So I haven't sent it to her yet, but I plan to. I do have her address. I'm going to send it to her. So that's my Eddie Taylor story, kind of like from another generation. But in the words of the song, it says, I got 2 kids I don't know. They never come around. That's in the words that Eddie Taylor sang about Brenda, because she's one of the 2 kids that never came around, I guess, So, so that's the third one. That's pretty traditional type song. So now the album's kind of getting a little well-rounded, So then it's time to bring in Cadillac Assembly Line, which Albert King made popular. But I kind of did a bit of a twist on that and kind of put a bit of a bouncy, almost a reggae style off, like a flat tire kind of feel to it.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, after I put the album out, it's only then when I was writing some liner notes that I realized that I had 2 Mac Rice songs on, because Cadillac Assembly Line is also written by Mac Rice, and so is Cheaper to Keep Her.
Okay.
And he wrote Mustang Sally, so I guess I'm in good company there. But I had no idea at the time that I was putting 2 Mac Rice cover songs on the same album. I probably would have done it anyway, but I realized it after it was too late that I got 2 of the same man on there. But yeah. And then what happens? Then Have a Good Time, which has been the most played song, which is an original of mine. It's got horn section in it, and a lot of guitar work, and we're quite happy with that. It's one of the songs that Holger played on his Saturday night show. have a good time. And then we do a little instrumental thing, kind of almost like an Albert Collins type instrumental called Buzz Bomb. It's an original tune. It's a snappy kind of a up shuffle. And then it moves into 3 o'clock in the morning, B.B. King, right back to the Stone Blues. Just bare bones, 4 of us, just no horns, just organ, just grinding, just the same way that B would do it back in when he was doing, the jail album. I forget what it's called, live at the jailhouse or something like that. So we did that. Yeah, and then it just progresses through that. And is Hungry Country Girl your favorite?
So far, yes, but not because it's a slow tune. It's just I'm used to listening to Kebmo, Eric Bibb,
Right.
I'm trying to think Colin James when he was doing his acoustic stylings. Eric, oh God, no, Eric Clapton. And then here, well, I've got the Travis Furlong and the whole crew in Moncton, and we've got our own Garrett Mason for one. If you've known Dutch Mason, he is. Now, when I was listening to that song, I started actually enjoying the whole album because it's like going on a drive, and then after a while you want to stop and admire the scenery, and you pull off at a rest stop, and you just enjoy the actual drink of water, maybe a sandwich that you decided to bring along. And then up comes the country girls.
Right. It kind of gives you a breather.
It does, but in a good way, because the album itself is not super heavy. It's not super electronically charged to the point that it's almost impossible to listen to in one sitting. The album itself plays well. It's not a Joe Bonamassa train ride going down the steep valleys of the blues, all electronic. There's only so much I can take that's electric. If it's too heavy, it just tires the mind. Your ears become a little bit annoyed, and then you have to put it down and then go back to it once you have a chance, or just tune the volume down so it's in the background, but you can actually still hear it. So,
well, I'm glad that does that, because that's a sign of a well-paced album.
It is.
It's like that. Everybody has a couple of tracks. I mean, Mick Jagger used to say, they say, what's a good album? And he said, as long as you had one or maybe 2 good songs and the rest of it was junk. You just need those 2 singles. Well, that's one way to look at it. But some of the best albums, as you know, are ones that you can put on from the start, or put on your CD player, or listen to your Spotify and play the whole album. Because like the Hollywood Fats Band, for example. You put the Hollywood Fats Band album from 1979 on, you can literally play that album from the beginning to the end and not even want to take it off, because it just plays so well. It's slow, medium, up-tempo, down, slow, So it's nice to have an album that's well-paced.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of the guys' albums that are out now, they do 10 songs. That seems to be what they like to do.
Give or take.
Whatever.
I think it depend. Well, one, it depends on the length of the songs. If you're going over 3 to 4 minutes each song, and you end up with 7 to 9 to 10. I mean, there's a bluesman over in Germany that I actually haven't had the chance to interview. But his name is Henrik Freischleder, and he's a fantastic guitarist. His songs, though, tend to go anywhere between 3 minutes is being generous in regards to minimum. but he tends to go almost to the 7 to 8 minute mark per song.
Right.
So,
Wow.
so it's long.
Somebody needs to edit it and
They
chop it up.
did.
It's too
He sent me his whole collection because at the time I was looking for new material and I was sending out letters and contacts and asking people, okay, I've fell upon your works. I would like to actually request to receive free items that I can actually play on my show. At the time it was all CDs. And he sent me his whole entire collection, including 1 or 2 concert DVDs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. Now, with everything that you've done with this album, this fantastic album, apart from you being a very a very well traveled musician, like a good pair of shoes that you don't want to get rid of. Do you have time to do anything relevant to a pastime or a hobby?
Yeah, it's nice of you to ask that. That's a different kind of question. I'm very much into riding Harley. I've been doing that almost as long as I've been playing the guitar. They kind of go together. Been doing that, for well over 50 years, and this is one of my passions, and still able to do it now. So me and my pack of fellas, we go out and ride, and a lot of my old friends, the ones that are still around, are still here. And so riding Harleys, I'm into cars. Got a 65 Falcon Cobra Jet. Very powerful car. Love to drive it. It's it's black with a red stripe up the side, and it's goes like crazy. And take my wife out. We go out driving on all the time, not just Sundays, but whenever we feel like it.
Okay.
So yeah, quite busy in that, and I ski when I can, and we've been doing a lot of traveling, around and stuff, like I say, going down to Clarksdale and a lot of touring around the States. We love it down in the States. And another thing, I've got a grandson now. My son had a baby boy.
Congratulations.
He's almost 4 years old, grandchildren. So that's great. That's a whole trip in itself. It's a good reason to stay close and be there for everything. And my sons and I are very close. And my wife, I have a stepson as well. So we're very close together. Our family's very, very tight that way. Small, but very, very tightly knit. And, I mess around on drums. I play drums. And I've been playing harmonica lately as well, which I really enjoy because I'm able to write with the harmonica. It's almost like having it's like having a Mississippi saxophone. It's like I can come up with lines, riffs, grooves, things like that.
Nice.
And it's quick. It's in my hand. It's in my pocket. I can just do it. So I've been doing that. Going to see Kim Wilson this weekend. Actually, Kim's playing down in Seattle, so we're going down to say hey to him and listen to him play.
Kim Wilson.
And,
Kim Wilson. I'm trying to remember that artist.
Oh yeah, he's from Fabulous Thunderbirds.
That's why.
The singer. Yes, exactly. Great player. It's interesting. I've got a bit of a different angle on the harmonica, and it's mainly because in that writing stance, because I'm always hearing things and coming up with ideas. I've written a lot of music over the years. A lot of it's in the can. It's never been heard, and it's all blues based. It's totally blues based. That's what I'm into, and
yeah.
I like playing. Like if you even listen to All Fired Up, there's 3 instrumentals on there, and 2 of them are almost like surf biker style instrumentals, right?
Okay.
Guitar twang, Link Ray type stuff. I like doing that. It's not 100% the blues, of course, but it's blues, electric blues in itself, right? There's heritage to it, so go ahead and do that.
So
getting the sounds and the tones out of the guitar and the harmonica, it's hard to explain. I don't really need to be known as a harmonica player, but the harmonica, some of the tones like Rod Piazza and Kim Wilson, they get like Kim Wilson was like I'm really good friends with Junior Watson, Mike Watson from California. We're old friends from the early '90s, and he played with Kim with Larry Taylor and their legendary blues band. And he told me, he said, like there's this driving force behind Kim, and it comes from the fact that he was a football player in college. And so he was very heavily into sports, really competitive, and he really went for it. But he also was in the band, and I believe he played trombone. And if it wasn't just trombone, it was another woodwind instrument. So that gives him the whole idea of playing these certain lines that you don't hear most people play Little Walter and stuff, but Kim Wilson and Rod Piazza, they stretch out. They stretch out. They start playing the harmonica with a real force that almost sounds like a saxophone solo. It's dominating, and that's what attracts me to the blues harmonica, is to get that,
Well, at least it's your go-to in pocket. You can take one that's just hand-sized, and you can do marvels with it. Myself, well, I decided I'm going to go into harmonica at one point, but I didn't do the smart thing. I decided to all buy keys of G.
Yes.
And I put them aside because I started getting frustrated over trying to learn my tongue exercises to be able to breathe, circular breathing, and it's like,
yeah,
I'm not doing well. So
there's a physical side to it. I totally agree. I've come away a few times, and my chest is hurting because it's not used to that kind of inhalation outflow, and when you get carried away, right?
Yeah.
Pass off,
The last question before I forget is going to be kind of a bizarre one. What's your favorite food dish? Now, by that, favorite food dish. Now, by that, I mean if you were given a buffet table of multiple items, but the one item on that table is the one thing that you always want to go to, what would it be?
Right. One thing I'd always go to. Wow. And you're talking about like an entree, not dessert?
No,
dessert,
it could be anything. Could be dessert, could be entree, could be appetizer, could be the meal.
Wow. I guess I'd have to be the thing. I just love sushi. I think I would, all kinds of sushi. I really like, the cooked fish and sushi would probably be the top of the list there for me. Just a lot of that, a lot of fish with a lot of sauce and a lot of
wasabi.
Yeah, really, wasabi. Yeah, the burn. Yeah, probably that. I mean, I'm a rib guy too. I don't eat a lot of meat, but when somebody puts ribs in front of me, I kind of lose it and go for it because I don't have it all the time.
Yeah, the same.
So, yeah.
Well, same here. Mind you. I'm. I can't say I'm a sushi guy because I only had it once, and the experience kind of turned me off. Not because
you were like Otis Rush.
It was a California roll. They called it a California spicy roll, and what it had multiple cuts of fish, beautiful fish, fresh fish. The salmon did me, unfortunately, the wrong way.
Oh, I see.
It's
against the grain.
It's too strong as a taste. I mean, I'm used to fishy tastes, but I can eat salmon on the plank. I can eat salmon medallions. I can eat salmon multiple ways cooked. But when it's fresh, the taste of the salmon is right. Like it's like a punch to your nose and your gut. So that just pushed me away. So I did my own meals or whatever I can cook, and it can go to chili, but it tends to be my grandmother's hearty beef stew, which In French, she called it the patate au nord. In English, the translation would almost be foxy potatoes. But it goes it's because the you cook it long enough so that some of the starch starts to thicken up the stew, and then you've got either whatever cuts of meat that you want in regards to beef. It could be cheap, it could be expensive, but either way, you put them in bite-sized morsels, all in the pot. Turnip, tomato, not tomato, turnip, carrots, onion. I add powdered garlic and powdered onion just to give it, and Worcestershire sauce.
Right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It's a hearty dish for winter cold climes, basically.
Right.
Now,
especially getting into the winter, that sounds like a real comfort food.
it is. It warms up the house because you have to simmer it. It's almost like a 5-hour simmer just to get it right. You can do it in 3, but it's not going to be a stick. So, before I forget, is there anything you want to tell us or drop before we go towards the end of the interview?
Well, if anybody, your listeners have a chance to go and listen to us, I guess we're on all the streaming platforms, and everything helps, all the listens. And I've been around for a long time, but somebody once said, an agent once said, Al, you're not a has been, you're a haven't been. So there's a lot of people. So there's a lot of people that have never, really have heard of me, but I remember. Johnny V. Do you remember Johnny V from Alberta?
Yes.
He's passed on now. He's been gone for quite a few years. He won a Juno with Triple Threat, I think, with Rusty and them, and Tim Williams, I think. And but he was in Vancouver once, and he was down at the Yale, and he was playing, and I went down to listen to him play, and I came in the back, and he said, "Hey, you're Wailin Walker." I said, "Yeah, I am." He says, "Man, I listened to your first album, which was the House Rocker album." He said, "I listened to that till I was worn out. I listened to it, and I listened to it. I love that album." Well, thanks a lot, thanks. And I was talking to the staff and everything, and then he looked at me and he said, "How old are you?" And I said, I guess at the time I was like maybe 40 or 48 years old. And I said, "I'm 48. Well, he was like 60 odd then, right? He was like, 55 or something. He couldn't believe how young I was. He thought that I was older, and he'd be listening to this stuff and didn't tell me this. And I said, "Well, I'm only 45 or something." He said, "What? You're 45? I thought you were older." Well, that's kind of the story of my life. Everybody thinks they've known I've been around, and now all of a sudden my albums are both charting at the same time, and we're going up. And yeah, it's I just want to thank people. I mean, really, Yannick. I mean, we want to thank people for listening to our album, requesting our album,
purchasing your album.
Yeah, exactly. And we want to get out and play it. We'll be out there in the spring. We'll be around so that people can hear it live. But for now, winter, it's time to listen and do that. And my band is just great. We got an album release party coming up. I guess I could plug that. That's coming up on the 22nd of November.
There we go.
Yeah. So that, we got new T-shirts for that and everything with a little promotion. We run we got a bit of an organization, a bit of a club, the VIP club we call it, and we got over like 900 members. And we just put out a newsletter and we let everybody know, and then that's for the local Vancouver area, but we also got well over 1,000 just people on our newsletter worldwide that get a different newsletter that tells them, what's going on with the album and the charts and things like that. So we are pretty good at keeping in touch with our people, and they're really good about keeping in touch and supporting us.
Okay.
So whenever we put a dance on, you can figure there's like 250 people there, enjoying themselves, and that helps give us money to do that again.
Yeah.
So we're in a good place,
Are you planning on doing a vinyl release for the Lightning album?
The Lightning, if it gets to the point where we can do one and it's worthwhile doing it, we can sell them, I will. At this point, I'll have to see, because I have been asked by a couple of people if I'm going to do it. It seems to be getting more and more popular. What's your feeling?
It's a resurgence of classic modalities. It's coming back in style, but you still have to get the equipment to play it properly. That's about the only thing. But the interview's done. But there is one thing that I have to ask personally. A lot of the details indicate that you actually wrote for Long John Baldry.
Yes, I did.
How did you actually meet this giant of a man?
Well, we all knew John here because he moved here. He lived in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I forget when he came here, but it was before the 90s for sure. It was like, well, it was the 80s for sure. He lived, so he was always around. He would play at the Yale. Him and Kathy McDonald they were always playing together. She was singing with him. And Holger was doing, Stony Plain was doing the first Long John Baldry album that he put out. I think it was called It Still Ain't Easy, I think.
Yeah, that's the title track for the actual album. It's actually fun to listen to.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I've got 2 songs on. One's called Shake That Thing, and the other is, oh my God, I can't remember. It's been a while since I Shake That Thing and One Step Ahead. Those are the 2 songs. And it's funny because that album did well for Holger, and the next album that Holger put out the next year that won the Juno. That's the one that won the Juno.
Okay.
But, oh well, that's how she goes.
Yeah.
But and then when John would be playing locally on some of the television shows here, we would be the house band on the television show. We'd back him up on the TV. So there's TV footage of us playing with John and stuff like that. He was a good friend. He was, he didn't act like he was this blues historic person that he was. He always was very well spoken, but always came. His band used to. I forget the guitar player's. His name is something King. He's out of Toronto. He'd kill me now. I can't remember his name. Played with John's band, and Pete Sweetser played organ, and John was known for saying, he'd introduce one of my songs when he was playing somewhere, and he'd say, "And this is one by Wailin L. Walker. The best thing to come out of Surrey, British Columbia." It's a suburb of Vancouver, right? Surrey, Surrey, British Columbia. And they would tell me every night he would do both of my songs. He would do them every night live.
Oh, wow.
And it's so great. And it's on his live album too. Both songs are on the live album. So
well,
that was great. That's a real feather in your cap, when you've got somebody like John Baldry chooses to record one of your songs or 2 of your songs, right?
Very much so.
And I wrote some stuff for Powdered Blues after that, for Tom Lavin, some stuff there. And I sent Holger some songs because I was kind of on a roll at that point. So I was writing and I wrote some stuff for Amos Garrett. And it didn't make it to the album, but it was fun writing it, But it's kind of like on Blues Lightning, we needed a title track, Blues Lightning, and that's the last track. That's that sort of, it's almost like a country blues thing at the very end. Mm-hmm. And I wrote that just off the top of my head. It needed a song called Blues Lightning, but the funny thing is my wife has just found out in the last 2 years that her father's side, that she has family in the Ozarks, in the Blue Mountains, North Carolina.
Oof.
And she's related to all these people. We went to her great-great-grandfather's grave site in North Carolina, and Abernathy's her last name. And her Schneider was her family name, so we always thought that she was German. And now I found out that, and we've been together for 30 years, now I find out that she's actually a hillbilly. She's officially. So when you listen to Blues Lightning, she was sitting right here in the studio, and I was singing to her. I didn't even have the headphones on. I was just playing it through the speakers and just saying, this is what I'll do with this song. And I just sang the words to her, and that's exactly what's on the album. Me playing this guitar right here, actually, this one behind me, this resonator here.
Oh, nice.
That's that. It sounds like a banjo.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the history of that little song. And a guy was reviewing the album, and he said, and I got to Blues Lightning at the end, and he was all excited that this was going to be like the big electric song of the album, right? And he said, and then it came on, and I went, and I had to sit back and I quite enjoyed it, but it's not what I expected. I went, well, there you go.
Well, Al, thank you so much for giving me so much of your time. A lot of storytelling and a lot of not very intriguing pieces of your life. The only thing I can say is that hopefully we'll see you in the Maritimes, but BC to here, it's kind of a long trek. So,
you know, if I'm over that way, you know I'll be looking you up for sure. And let me know when the interview's being aired or anything so that we can listen in.
Yeah, but chances are I'm going to be doing the editing and posting it on my social media, and then eventually I'll do the streaming directly on my show. Because you got a lot to tell.
Look forward to that.
Parts of it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's too
like that fellow in Europe that's got to cut his songs down to 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, they've given me carte blanche when it comes to my music, and I do what I please, but I have to beware the FCC, what is it, the Canadian.
The Canadian content.
Yeah, well, they don't like swearing, so I try to avoid explicit lyrics. Mind you, not many people in blues tend to go that way, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got, I was really surprised that we got mentioned in the top blues from the Toronto Blues Society, top blues for November. We actually made their album list.
Yes.
Which was really cool, too.
It
was really, really great.
You're going to be in the running because right now, it used to be Maple Blues. They changed it to I forget what they changed it to. They made it more global and more accessible in regards to the theme. So
I see.
We'll see how it goes. But anyways, Al, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you on your next album.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.